What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into one of the most requested reviews analysis, so stick around, you don't want to miss this. But before we get into that, if you're considering a purchase, don't miss out on this incredible discount available right now. Check the description below and the pinned first comment. Now let's not delay any further and jump right into the details. Let's start by delving into the insights shared by our first reviewer.
This reviewer recently purchased and set up a new router for their home, feeling it offered excellent value compared to a nearly identical, more expensive model. The only significant difference was a slightly lower speed cap on the 2.4 GHz band, a trade-off our reviewer considered trivial since any high-speed devices would be using the faster 5 GHz or 6 GHz bands anyway. The setup process, however, was not entirely smooth. This client ran into a peculiar issue where, after a mandatory firmware update, the custom network name they had chosen reverted to the default. Interestingly, the management app still showed the new name, causing some confusion. They discovered the only fix was to disable the Smart Connect feature, which separates the Wi-Fi bands into 3 distinct networks instead of merging them under a single name. Once separated, the names displayed correctly. Once up and running, the performance has been a mixed bag. On the positive side, their desktop PC, using the 5 GHz band, was finally able to take full advantage of their upgraded internet service, reaching maximum speeds without a problem. However, they weren't particularly blown away by the overall range for the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz frequencies, finding it comparable to the cheaper device this router replaced. The 6 GHz band was a significant disappointment. Its range was described as terrible, effectively limited to the same room as the router. Even more surprising, in close-range tests, the 6 GHz connection was actually a bit slower than the 5 GHz one. Ultimately, while not perfect, the router performs well for current devices on the standard bands. They purchased it mainly for future-proofing and remain hopeful that it will shine when paired with true Wi-Fi 7 devices down the line, making it a worthwhile investment for the long term.
Now, let's hear directly from our first reviewer about their experience.
This reviewer finds this router to be an incredible piece of hardware, offering fantastic performance for what you get. They do, however, offer a crucial piece of advice for anyone considering Wi-Fi 7 technology. Due to the physics of how the wavelength works, you should not expect it to penetrate any walls. It's a limitation of the technology itself, not this specific device. Our client is currently using the 6E band and is genuinely impressed. While they noted a slight dip in raw download speed compared to their previous Wi-Fi 6 setup, the improvement in latency was a significant and worthwhile upgrade for their needs. For tasks that require more range and wall penetration, this device truly shines on the lower frequency bands. This client found its signal to be much more robust and far-reaching than their old routers, easily covering more of their space. The setup process was another high point. They appreciated the simple, web-based access that doesn't force you to use an app, noting the interface is clean and free of clutter. For more advanced users, it integrated instantly with their existing server environment, which was a major plus. The physical design also got a nod of approval, with a shape that's more convenient for custom setups like rack mounting. Throughout its use, the unit has remained cool to the touch and completely silent. After looking into some of the negative feedback on this device, this reviewer believes many issues stem from a misunderstanding of how these advanced systems work. They stress that if you need a signal to travel through walls or over long distances, you should configure your network to use the appropriate, lower frequency bands for those connections.
Great! Now let's see what our next reviewer has to say about their experience.
This reviewer decided to finally upgrade their decade-old router after it started showing its age. After a bit of research and reading through countless reviews, this client opted for this model. Installation was mostly straightforward. Our reviewer chose the computer-based setup after reading online that it was the easier path. There was a slight hiccup requiring a couple of browser refreshes, but nothing major. The most surprising thing was how many software-related issues seemed to vanish after installing this router. For example, a game that previously had trouble displaying information now runs perfectly. The backwards compatibility is also a big win, especially the separate wireless bands which allow older security cameras to connect without any trouble. The signal range is excellent. This reviewer lives in an apartment, and this router now provides complete coverage, ensuring a stable connection for all devices in every room. Even the accompanying app is surprisingly useful, consolidating functions from other apps, such as a network scanner and speed test, along with all the standard router management tools. Overall, this client is very pleased with this router and considers it a worthwhile upgrade.
Appreciate you watching. If this video helped, like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts below. See you soon.